Most people think Stoicism means being cold, suppressing every feeling, showing no reaction, turning yourself into stone. But that is not what Stoicism is, and the people who built it 2,000 years ago would completely disagree with that definition. Stoicism is a precise mental framework, a philosophy designed for people living inside chaos, instability, and real pressure. It began around 300 BCE in ancient Athens with a philosopher named Zeno of Citium, and it was built from the very beginning as a survival tool, not a theory. In this video, we are breaking down every core Stoic principle, one by one, so by the end, you will understand exactly how this 2,000-year-old system still works on a human mind today. And stay with me, because Principle 4, Amor Fati, is the one that changes how you see every setback you have ever experienced. But before we get there, we need to start with the single rule that holds the entire Stoic system together. Fact 1. The dichotomy of control. This is the foundation of everything in Stoicism, the strict separation between what is up to you and what is not. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of history's most influential philosophers, taught that nearly all human suffering comes from a single mistake, trying to control things that are fundamentally outside your power. Your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, those are yours. The weather, the economy, what other people say about you, those are not. When you keep investing emotional energy into external things you cannot change, your mind stays in a state of constant, low-level alarm, burning through focus that could go somewhere useful. The Stoic practice is simple. When a stressor hits, ask immediately, is this internal or external? If it is external, withdraw your emotional investment and redirect everything toward your response. Now, controlling your response to the present is one skill, but Stoicism goes further, training you to handle the future before it even arrives. Fact 2. Premeditatio malorum, negative visualization. The Stoics believe that optimism on its own is a fragile strategy because it leaves you completely unprepared for the moment things go wrong. The practice involves deliberately imagining what could go wrong before your day begins, not to spiral into anxiety, but to strip potential disasters of their shock value in advance. When you mentally rehearse a difficult outcome, your brain processes the novelty of the threat before it happens, so when it actually occurs, you are already a step ahead of the panic. Spend a couple of minutes each morning identifying one realistic thing that could go sideways, and then decide in advance exactly how you would respond. That pre-decision is what keeps you calm when others freeze. Fact 3. Judgment reframing. It is not events that disturb us, but our judgments about them. This is one of the most repeated Stoic ideas, and it is the core of their entire theory of emotion. An event happens. Your mind instantly labels it good, bad, threatening, embarrassing. But the Stoics argued that label is not the truth. It is a choice, and a different choice produces a different emotional response. And if reframing the label is powerful, loving the outcome entirely is something else. Fact 4. Amor Fati, love of fate. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ran one of the most powerful empires in history while simultaneously writing philosophy in a private journal, described it simply, what stands in the way becomes the way. Amor Fati is not about tolerating what happens to you. It is about genuinely using it, treating every obstacle as material, every setback as data, every failure as a direction marker pointing somewhere better. The mental shift is specific. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And immediately ask, what can I extract from this? That single pivot shuts down the rumination loop and activates forward thinking. If you are finding this useful, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. We break down psychology and philosophy like this every week. Fact 5. Memento mori, remember death. This principle sounds dark at first, but the Stoics used it as one of their sharpest prioritization tools. The idea is straightforward. We live as if time is unlimited, which causes us to spend enormous energy on things that genuinely do not matter. petty arguments, minor embarrassments, trivial worries. Awareness of mortality clarifies everything, but Stoicism also asks you to test that awareness against your own physical comfort, and that is where things get interesting. Fact 6. Voluntary discomfort. Seneca, one of Stoicism's most prolific writers, advised deliberately exposing yourself to minor hardship on a regular basis, not as punishment, but as proof. The more comfortable your life becomes, the longer the list of things you are afraid to lose. Voluntary discomfort shortens that list. It proves to your nervous system that you can function and even think clearly under conditions far below your usual standard. Cold exposure, skipping a meal, sitting with boredom instead of reaching for distraction, these are not dramatic acts. They are small, controlled experiments in self-sufficiency. The Stoic goal is to arrive at a place where the world's comfort and the world's discomfort both lose their leverage over you. The inner citadel. This is the Stoic concept that sits underneath every other principle. The idea that there is a space inside you that no external event can touch. Someone can take your money, your reputation, your freedom, but they cannot force you to be a dishonest person, a cowardly person, or a cruel person. That choice always stays yours. Protecting that internal space requires daily practice, and Stoicism has a specific structure for exactly that. The evening review. Every night, the Stoics recommended a structured self-examination, not therapy, not journaling in a vague sense, but a precise 3-question audit. What did I do well today in line with reason and good character? Where did I fall short? What single adjustment will I make tomorrow? This closes the daily feedback loop. It prevents the same mistake from compounding across weeks and months simply because it was never examined. The view from above. When a problem feels enormous, the Stoics recommended mentally zooming out, pulling your perspective back from the immediate moment to the city, to the country, to the full span of human history. This is not about making your problems feel meaningless. It is about restoring accurate proportion, shrinking the emotional weight of a crisis back down to its actual size. The virtue standard. Stoicism defines success in exactly 4 terms: wisdom, courage, justice, and discipline. And it argues that any outcome measured against these 4 is the only outcome worth measuring. Put all of these principles together, and what you get is not a collection of ancient quotes. It is a complete operating system for a human mind under pressure. Stoicism began as a survival philosophy, built for real people navigating war, loss, and instability, and every principle in it was designed to be practiced, not just understood. The dichotomy of control separates your energy from everything it cannot change. Negative visualization removes the shock from difficulty. Judgment reframing reminds you that your label is not the truth. Amor fati converts obstacles into direction. Memento mori burns away the trivial. Voluntary discomfort removes the world's leverage. The inner citadel protects the one thing that is always yours. What connects all of it is this: Stoicism is not about being emotionless. It is about being less controlled by emotion and more guided by reason, by character, and by choice. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire and still found time every single day to write, reflect, and practice. The tools were simple. The commitment was daily. The results held up for 2,000 years. These principles are not relics. Modern psychology, particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, is built on nearly identical ideas about the relationship between thought, interpretation, and emotional response. If this video gave you something useful, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below telling me which principle landed hardest for you, and I will see you in the next one.